What's going on, guys? I'm standing out here in the shop wondering how in the world I got myself conned into this job. This is my buddy Jake's truck, and his transmission went out. He run it low on fluid. It had a little oil leak here a while back, probably 20,000 miles ago, and it got so low it started overheating, and he pulled over and he got somebody to bring him some fluid, and they got fluid back in it. And it's run for 20-something thousand miles, he said. And he calls me yesterday. He picked this load up. He called me yesterday and said his transmission was making a loud growling noise in 5th and 10th gear, which is the same gear, you know, just through the use of your splitter makes it a low and high. So anyway, he said it was getting so loud he couldn't even hear the radio. Turn the radio wide open, he couldn't even hear the radio. And I said, that doesn't sound good. Maybe you can get that load delivered and, you know, have somebody take a look at it or whatever. Well, he decided he wanted to come by my house and before he headed out and let me listen to it and maybe put a bottle of Lucas in it, see if that would quieten it down a little bit. But we pulled the drain plug and it was full of oil and everything, and it was had metal in it, and the fluid smelled burnt, and I could hear, you know, a noise in it with it sitting there idling. And I said, I don't know, you know, if it's getting louder and you've noticed it over the last 2 or 3 days. I said, I don't know that I'd take off. This is what we found wrong with it here. Now, how well you guys can see down in here. Should be able to see that pretty well. This is 5th gear. So it has run the 2 counter shafts, one there and one there, and that gear, and it was in the process. You can look at the input gear right there as well. It's done started chewing it up. But it's really bad right there in 5th. You can see the teeth just about to strip slam out on it. And so I don't know if he would have made this load or not. But he's got another transmission that's a Super 10 out of another truck. And we're going to try to put that in here. I'm not going to be able to film any of all this because just touching this, I got grease all over me. And we've got to get this job done. He's got to get this load of lumber delivered. I've got a load on my truck that's sitting out here. I'll show you yet. I don't know if you can see right there on the other side over there, my truck's sitting there loaded. So I've got to get it delivered, all at the same time of trying to get this transmission here, or another transmission, his other transmission out of another truck that he used to have that he wrecked. Guy pulled out in front of him several years ago. He still got the transmission out of it, and we were looking at it. There's going to have to be some line. The transmission cooler lines has got to be changed, and there's some difference in the air lines and stuff. The cross members are the same, the bell housing bolts and everything. The bell housing is the same, looks like. The Super 10 transmission is longer. It's 3 inches longer right here. It has a thicker back section on it, and the caps right here, instead of being this style caps that the U-joint goes in here, it's got the strap type caps and bolts coming in this way. So I don't know what we're going to have to do to get that to work, but this is, you know, probably $3,000 to fix this or more for the shafts and whatnot. So we're going to try to put that other transmission in there and see what we run into. Like I say, I don't think I'm going to be able to film any of it, probably. Just had a minute. I'm waiting on him now to come and bring the other transmission and stuff. We're going to get started on this, and we're going to have that the drive shaft taken to a drive shaft shop. And like I say, I'm not sure on this yoke if we're going to be able to swap the yoke and just shorten that shaft there. We're going to take, he's got the shaft out of the other truck. If we may have to cut the end off of it and have it put on this shaft and shortened, and you know, for the yoke and everything to work. So not sure what we're going to have to do there, but that's what I'm in the middle of right now. Alright guys, I'm all cleaned up. We didn't get much done. I want to take a quick minute before I leave to show y'all what we did get done here. This is the Super 10 transmission that we're going to put in there, and show you the differences of it. You see the back half here is thicker. The case is the same length from this seam to the bell housing up front, but this case is thicker here, And we figured out about 2.5 inches we need to cut off of the drive shaft to make this work. The yoke is different here, is what I was saying. This takes a strap type yoke right here, and the other one is you got to pull the caps to get the U-joint. Let me show you the difference here. This is the other style yoke. See the caps, you got to pull the caps. It's completely different. And this yoke here does not look to be the same. It doesn't look like you can remove this because the transmission, the back half is made different. So this yoke won't fit that. So we're going to have to come up with a conversion style U-joint, or replace the yoke on the drive shaft itself with a yoke that will accept the U-joint that will bolt up to this. So that's one of the dilemmas, and we're going. He's going to a drive shaft shop tomorrow to get all that sorted out. They're going to cut the shaft, supposedly shorten it about 2.5 inches, and either come up with a U-joint that'll fit this to the shaft, or replace the yoke on the shaft. You know, weld a new yoke on the shaft that is compatible with this. And what else do we got to do here? We got some cooler lines here on the side that they broke off, taking this thing out right there. So we got to get a easy out or get them out some kind of way. And go about getting their put back in there. And for those of you who are not familiar with 18-wheeler transmissions, the difference in a Super 10 and a straight 10 is a Super 10 has a button on the side of the shifter right there that you flip forwards and backwards, and a straight 10 has a lever right here that you flip up and down. I do make a couple different versions, so that's not always 100% correct. I think they actually do make a Super 10 that's got a button there. But basically the difference in the transmission is a Super 10 you split every gear. So if you're in first gear, you flip the button and that's second gear. To go to third gear, you flip the button back the other way and you shift the transmission. To go to fourth, you just flip the button. And so every gear you have to split. On a straight 10, you shift it just like a normal 5-speed, you know, 1 through 5, and then you flip your range selector up, and that's high range, and you shift the other 5 gears. That's how a straight 10 works. So that's what he had in there. He likes the Super 10 better. Most people hate him because you got to split every gear, and I don't particularly like them myself because of that fact. But if you're running empty, you don't necessarily have to split every gear. You can just shift it and drive it like a 5-speed if you're running empty or bobtailing or any of that. All right, guys, real quick, what we got going on here. Got the drive shaft back from the drive shaft shop. They shortened the shaft 2.5 inches. Had to come up with a different U-joint, new straps. We got a new yoke. The yoke that is on there is a 7-inch yoke width-wise, and this is a 7.5 inch on the drive shaft width-wise, and they don't make a conversion joint, so I had to get a new yoke for the transmission, which is right here. And so that saves me from having to get a broke off bolt out anyways. And you see how this one's got the straps, and the old one is got the 2 bolts come in and hold the cap in from the side, where these are held in by the little tanks. But anyway, I kind of like this style better because they're easier. You ain't got to pull the caps every time you place, you know, pull the shaft out. But anyway, about to get started here, and I still got to get these cooler lines down there, right there, out of there that he broke off. I don't have a clue how he did that, but I wish he hadn't. What's going on, guys? We're about to get started again. This has turned into a week-long project. Well, part of that's because I've been working and I hadn't been able to be here and really work on this. I wasn't going to take off work to, you know, work on this that I'm not making very much money on. Just doesn't make any sense. But anyway, we got it going back in. I got a mess in my shop here, and it smells like burnt up transmission and grease and oil and everything. Got a big mess to clean up. But this is the old transmission. We've got the new one stuck in there, or the other one, not new one, but other one, other used one. Got to put the drive shaft in. These are the transmission cooler lines. We're having some new ones made out of hydraulic hose. They had to be a different length because the transmission cooler lines are in a different spot on the transmission that we put in here. And you can see the transmission cooler right there above it. And so they have to run down the side of the frame there, and that air tank has to be put back up there. But we got it all stabbed in there other than that. And we've got to put the shift tower in on the inside and hook up a few sensors, extend a few wires that does not reach because some of them are in different locations. The cooler lines on this transmission were here. The ones on the other transmission are on the other side, and the reverse light wires were like right here on in the shifter top. You can see right there. On the other transmission, they're over here, and the temperature sensor is on the opposite side as well. So we have to extend those and get that put back in there, or hooked back up or whatever, so it will work. And my buddy's going to Napa in order to get a few parts and stuff that we need, and he'll be back shortly, and we're gonna continue this project and get crazy again, and hopefully get this thing going in the next few hours, because we don't light much now. And that way he can haul this load tomorrow, and we'll be done with this project. I have other stuff I need to do to my truck when I get his out of here. So thanks for watching, you guys, and we'll see you next time.